Railway accidents happen for many reasons. Poor visibility, inexperience, vandalism, objects on the track or thrown from bridges, or the lack of concentration.
We're back inside at Wigan after we've done our day's work. And he left Wigan and I thought, this bloke's going to make a dash. So coming up through Inley, he's really pushing it now, and I thought, crimes, I must make sure this damper stays open now. It were what we used to call half-moon dampers. It were on a ratchet thing, and they were prone to shutting on their own, these things. So going through Inley, like I say, he's making a dash for it. I never saw the gantry at the other end of Inley, near Crowness Junction, Bob. And he must have been going that fast that we'd passed this gantry, and it were dark, it was on November night. So the next thing I know, just an almighty bloody bang. This engine jumped, fire irons shot out from behind me, missed me, they went at an angle. Why they went at an angle, I do not know. They should have hit me and I'd have been seriously hurt. And this thing's lurching one way and another, and I couldn't get up. Every time I tried to stand up, it threw me, until eventually it stopped and we're leaning now onto my side. I'm looking up at this driver, Stanley, and he's still got regulator open saying, where the highway? And I'm saying, I don't know. And when I looked, the cab side had come down, everything's mangled up, it's leaning over as if it's going to go over on my side, and it's pitch black, and it frightened me to bloody death. There's coal all over the place. Like I said, fire irons were onto warming plate, brew cans had gone. I could see I couldn't get off on my side, it were too badly mangled. And I've now got to find detonator to go and protect this engine. Because I don't know where I am now. I haven't a clue where we are. All I can think is we're running back of a train. So I have to walk uphill through his side to try and get out. But I can't find detonator, so I thought, well, all I can do is get my red lamp off my tender and go down to the signal box, because if you were protecting, you had different things to do. First of all, it would walk quarter of a mile if you didn't come to a signal box, put a detonator down. Walk half a mile if you didn't come to a signal box, put another detonator down. If you still didn't come to a signal box, 3/4 of a mile, put 3 detonators down 10 yards apart. And that protects anything from running into you, because drivers would hear these detonators going off. Anyway, I managed to get off this thing and started feeling my way to the back at tender, and I could not believe what I saw. As soon as I got to the back at tender to get my red lamp, were a signal box right opposite. Anyway, as soon as I got into the signal box, I could see there were levers pulled over for clearing for something, so I just said to this signalman, little old fella he was, stop the job, Bobby, we've crashed. So obviously he threw these signals back. He said, what are you? I said, light engine, we've crashed into something. He said, you can't have. I said, why not? He said, you're in the loop. I said, we're in loop? And he said, yeah, you're in loop. And there's nothing in loop. I said, there is. I said, we've hit something with an almighty bloody bang. So I've got to get on with control then and say who I were, like fireman on this light engine for Bolton, but we've crashed into something in this loop. So things start happening then, control start getting people out, like tool van must be required because this engine's definitely hit something like. Well, I went back to my mate and he's still on footplate, and all he could say were, I've lost my shoe. And what had happened, the lap plate, or the fall plate between engine and tender to stop us falling down, had flown up with this collision and took his shoe off. Now it's a wonder it didn't take his foot off, never mind anything else, and he'd lost his cap. And I thought, bloody hell, is that all you're bothered about? You've lost your shoe, you lost your hat, got wet. It's a wonder we're not dead. Anyway, a bit after, platelayers landed and they started bringing arc lights out. Turned out we'd passed the signal at danger, we'd gone over the overrun, and in front of the buffers, metal buffers, was a salt box, which were obviously more than 4 foot 8.5 wide because it straddled the track. It were about a yard high. We'd smashed that, knocked the buffers down, gone through about 3 yards of dirt, knocked 2 trees down, small trees, and then a platelayer's hut, the old type, what were made out of sleepers, which are bloody huge things. Demolished that, and then gone another few yards and hit bridge number 17 at Crowness Sidings. I'll always remember that bridge. Anyway, I've always found there's been a funny part to these things, like where I've gone across and grabbed hold of the driver thinking, well, if I'm going down, he's bloody going down, I'm not going on my own. This were another funny one. The platelayer who came, the foreman platelayer, was called Cyril. Eventually he come into signal box where I was still making sure that signalman wouldn't pull any signals off, like that were part of your job, protection. And he came in and I said, I believe you had a a platelayer's cabin there. He said, we did have, but you've demolished it. Do you know? He said, I can't find our tea and sugar.
I always said, you go to a derailment or something like that, an accident. I said, I don't care, they can be piled high as Blackpool Tower, as long as nobody's hurt. I said, I'll pull the buggers down, and we'll re-rail them and sort them out. That's no problem, as long as nobody's hurt. When you're dealing when somebody's been hurt and chopped, it's not very pleasant. And we got a call one night to go to Lee. And it was a parcel train. It was only 2 vans and a 264 tank. And the driver had taken the wrong signal, gone up a dead end and hit a stop block. He'd hit it fairly gently, but it had sheared bolts in the fish plate. So it pushed the stop block back about a couple of yards, that's all. But then there was a gap under a pair of driving wheels, you see. And this was on top of an embankment, and down below was some houses. So I roll up with an engine and 1 van, which was Patrick Croft's tool van. So all we had for lights then were Tilly lamps. Next thing, I'd never seen anything like it. We're all under arrest by police. And somebody had rung up and said the mail train was being robbed. And it was, it was a 10 car, whatever they were, had come. And of course, when we explained who we were and what had happened, we showed them, like, everybody had a good laugh about it. But it just shows you how things like that can happen.